Welcome to the bonus episode with Kristin Panek. Did I get your last name right?
Yes, you did.
Excellent. Kristin and I have connected through the gods of LinkedIn. And I don't actually even remember how we connected. I just know that in the messenger, I saw that you had human design as one of your topics there, and you're about. Tell us a little bit more about you, Kristin.
Wow.
Let's start with human design. We'll get into all the nitty gritty in our main episode, but tell me a little bit about human design for you. What's your profile?
I'm a manifesting generator.
And what's your number?
And my profile is a 5-1.
All right. Well, that makes sense. I'm also a 5-1.
Oh, okay. And what type are you?
I'm just a generator.
Just. Okay.
Yes. Well, you manifesting generators, you go so quickly. You got that, to the throat gate that I don't.
Yes. Well, I do appreciate your relatability. How you relate with others is really powerful. So, yeah. Just a generator like Oprah Winfrey or the Dalai Lama, right? Just.
So for 70% of us, we're just like Oprah, the Dalai Lama. I just want to put that out there.
Yeah, okay, good.
How long ago did you find human design?
Oh, was it 3 years? 3 or 4 years? I've been avoiding it for a long time. I have a lot of other modalities. I'm like, I don't need another modality. I don't want to look at it. And I was writing my first book, and Robin Wynn was writing her first book on human design. And I said, well, why don't I do a Facebook promotion for you? So we got on Facebook Live, and she went through my design, and I just had an internal meltdown. I'm like, whoa, that's very specific information. Like, she totally nailed where I was sitting in the moment with my biggest issues. And I'm like, oh. So I was hooked. I went into a deep dive into human design after that. I think that's why I avoided it, because I knew I'd be pulled in. But yeah.
I had Robin on my podcast as well. Is that our connection somehow? Or is that just a coincidence?
Coincidence or not.
Well, good. A synchronicity, if you will.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, I've read 2 of her books now. I like the way that she writes about the human design system, and I always pick up a new nugget of information, from the 6-2 that loves to educate. And what stood out to me, the Essential Oils book, when I was reading it and hearing Greg talk about his experience, those are the exact words that my clients share with me. Like almost like some of the exact phrases that I pulled out, I'm like, I've heard that phrase. And then I was reading her profile book where someone talked about it feeling like a transmission, like as they're sitting there, they didn't even fully, it was Yara, that didn't fully even comprehend what she was hearing. She just felt it. And I've had people share that for me as well when I've looked at their profile. So I imagine that was quite a powerful experience for you. What was the thing that hit you over the head?
Oh, wow. Well, I was sitting in with a decision, which I kind of decided, but wasn't fully able to stand in it, I guess. Leaving a mystery school I've been a part of for 22 years. And she went right to the, I have the Time Bender channel and 4426, and I forget. And I have a lot of individual circuitry. I have a mix of individual and tribal circuitry. And she basically said, I'm not one to really maintain. I'm in there to go in there and make change and innovate and bring the solutions to the tribe, and then step out. I'm not there for maintenance mode. And she said a couple other things that just kind of hit the nail on the head. And it was just like, I just took a big breath. It was like an exhale, right? Like, okay, I'm not crazy to leave. It's my time. You know, anyways, it just hit me because, as you said, it's a transmission. She's really good about embodying the work. So it was a perfect teacher for me because my work for the last 20 years with the mystery school was really all about that, embodying, being fully embodied. And so she was definitely my teacher.
Very cool. And have you dove into the gene keys at all? I have,
I have it, and I do go in there for certain gates, and I do want to get more into it. But I haven't specifically followed their sequencing and all of that yet.
Cool. That's been my fun. I think this year has been my year of the gene keys, I guess is a good way to put it.
And what attracts you so much about the gene keys?
That's a good question. Embodiment.
Mm.
Something that I think Robin sort of shined a light for me on was how to embody human design. Human design felt very much like a system, and it's lovely to give people a picture of who they are and how their water flows is what I call it, what that looks like, so that your mechanics can work, but we don't have to be a victim to our mechanics. We don't have to be just in these mechanics. So the gene keys, the raising of the frequency, what's the word I want? The contemplation, I think, aspect of that as well. You know, our one line loves a good contemplation and introspection. And it just gives me a perfect picture of where childhoods need to still be complete for people that still need to complete their childhoods. I would put most of us as adults in there where there's an area that we haven't fully completed. I have in my SQ, I have the 61. So the shadow is psychosis and the gift of imagination. So but more importantly, I had a 4 line there, and it's my only 4 line in all of my human design chart. And that, of course, means I have to heal that thing I've been looking for everywhere. It's been in me the whole time. So I think those are the parts of the gene key. Sharing someone's story for them, not from a place of the childhood victim and the experiences they've had, but being able to shine a light on the universe's story that they were born into. And here was the story of your life at 0 to 9 months. And here you were at 0 to 7, and walking them through the genius, and even seeing how the different parts of it, they really connect to even the centers of, oh, of course I have a wide open solar plexus. It allows me to know everything. My life's work is the 17-5. So I get to be all knowing. And that seat of consciousness is in my solar plexus, which is why I needed to be wide open there. And that defined head had to come up with all these patterns and numbers. So it really almost was like the lotus flower for me, the gene keys sequence, and seeing my life play out in the perfect way it was supposed to. And then in an empowering way of how I want to keep writing that story for myself.
Yeah, I think that's the beauty of this work, is that what I get so often from people is they have permission to be themselves. You know, there's nothing wrong with them. And so it sounds like it's more of that too, more an understanding of an acceptance around how we're wired, right?
Yeah. Yeah, a way to not be a victim to it in many ways. And also just to accept that my purpose here is to be the finger in the pie. When you're 39, purpose. And you also got all those opinions. It just was really helpful for me. And even knowing we're designed to interact with strangers. We're here to be a stranger of consequence, strong consequence. Was really freeing for me.
Yeah, for me too, because my first marriage, my husband, I believe, was a strong 4. I don't have his birth time, so I
I
can't.
think my first ex-husband was too. I say first, I have one. Just kidding, Dan.
So I learned so much about networking from him, but I was like, which was helpful, but it's not my thing. Like, I like to reach out to new people. So I used to kind of beat myself up for not being better at it. But at the same time, appreciating what I did learn from him about that. So it was kind of nice for me too, very freeing to hear, oh, strangers is where
Yeah, where we shine.
Yeah.
Yeah. Now it's just my shtick, I'll say, as I'm leaving the house, like, ooh, I'm going to go be real powerful. Or whenever I get a new client, I can't wait to be the most powerful I'll ever be.
Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah. Are you an emotional authority then?
No, sacral.
Ah, yes. Okay. A lot of my
No, I have an open solar plexus as well. Totally open.
So you know the childhood pains, perhaps, of I had 2 emotional authority parents.
I did too.
Ah, fun one. I had a 5'1" mom and a 5'2" dad. And my 5'2" father, I think he thought he was a 1-line because we have a library of books. And he's very much into the mystery schools.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Yeah, my parents would never argue in front of us, right? They would always, if there was an issue, it was always behind closed doors where we couldn't see. But I could feel all the suppressed emotions. It terrified me. Literally, I didn't know what was wrong. And I thought something was wrong with me. Like, it was really, their intention, of course, was the opposite. But so interesting. When I saw that, I was like, oh, okay, that's what was going on.
Yeah. My parents kept a secret between the 2 of them that no one knew. And then dad decided to tell me when mom died that he was gay. And, but even though they never spoke about it, I could feel the wave. I could feel my mom had the 3955. I've got the 39. Like I really could feel, or 30, whatever that number is. Yeah, 3955. I could really feel that. And it's a volatile one too. It's very spiky.
Mm-hmm.
And I was an only child, so I just didn't know how to make sense of it. I thought I needed to fix it. I needed to be something to make it better. And that's really what I carried with me, is how do I make things better? And as soon as I learned that these things I'm feeling are not mine, and also not mine to solve or fix,
right.
A huge weight was lifted off my shoulder.
Yes. I had to learn how to deal with big emotions. So, I learned how to let them move through me or ground them into the earth. But then with human design, it was like, I can just step out of the rainstorm. I'm like, duh, okay. So my husband knows that now. So if he's angry, because usually it's really not at me, I just need to step out of the room for a minute. It's like, wow, it's very powerful. Very simple.
Yeah. I have found also that there's some positive to anger. It took me moving halfway across the country and some self-reflection. I wrote a nice little blog post on it, on recognizing that it just felt nice to I'm feeling this. And I understand that he's a 3-5, so we're just projecting on each other. So I recognize if I say you're being a jerk, that I'm also being a jerk. But also I was just naming what was happening at the time. I've come to a new space, I guess, with emotions where we're not drowning. We don't have to be victim of them. I don't have to always, I don't always have a shouting out, but if I do, I used to feel, oh, I'm supposed to be the calm in the storm. I'm supposed to be the generator that's here to just make things better. I've recognized now, maybe, I feel like the Dalai Lama also got his feathers ruffled once in a while.
Yes.
Right?
Exactly.
I know that when Oprah has bad days, I had someone on my podcast who was her producer at one point. When she would ever have a bad day, she'd just bring everybody in and write checks and hand them out because it made her feel better. It's like, oh, what a cool place to be.
Oh, wow. That is a beautiful place to be. Yeah.
Nobody ever feels bad if they're giving away money.
Right. Oh, interesting.
Mm.
Wow.
So a fun bonus episode today of two 5-1s who didn't know they were 5-1s until this moment right here in time, which is how we work. We're very magnetic. We find each other. And very excited to head over to that main episode and learn all about Kristin and her incredible career. You're going to hear about her management career, her mystery school career, and how to build a thriving community as a 5-1 with full of strangers that want more of what you have to offer. I can't wait.